All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Vanessa with part 3 of the overview of Tube Ranking Syndicate. This is going to be the last section of the overview where we're just having an overview of the product. In the next section, we're going to be testing the Tube Ranking Syndicate. So, part 3 of the overview, let's get started. I always start with the PDFs because I can read faster than most people can talk, and because I have noisy, short humans who make it difficult for me to hear what's being said on video. So I try to leave video stuff for when they're at school. Now, I think I've already told you that on page 2 of the PDF, I saw something that I'd never seen before. And even though I'm no SEO expert, I can see how this would be great for SEO and how it's nothing that Google or YouTube could ever hold against you when they release some algorithm update, some, panda, penguin, animal farm update, whatever. The author is making it a point to make sure you know how to do certain things first so that you won't have to go back and fix things later. So as of right now, I'm not seeing anything related to picking a market, a niche, or a product, but I'm going to keep going. Now, we do have a tutorial on keyword research. I'll come back to this because I generally like to read through an entire book at least once first and then go back for a second or even third or fourth look as I start implementing the teaching. Now, Abdallah does very briefly touch on market, niche, and product research and one tool in the first bonus. However, his complete niche product research is the OTO, and I can live with that since most people know how to do it, and I do have access to review it as well. From a quick glance, I can say that it's not very substantial as a market niche research guide. It's more about doing market niche research specifically for video, and the one tool that it does use, he only shows you how to use for it if you've upgraded to a paid account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in my bonus. The first bonus I'm going to throw into this, if you decide to buy through my link, is going to be my own market research mechanics system. And as a copywriter, I delve very, very deeply into market research to the point where the way I do research, your products and your content and even your copy will practically write itself if you do your research the right way, the way I teach you to do it. So that's a pretty expensive thing that I teach, usually only one-on-one via some type of webinar setup. But I'm going to go ahead and put it into a video and package it up so that you have it, because I think it's really important that you understand how to pick a good market and a good niche and a good product. So moving on, we jumped right into some pretty incredible stuff, tactical maneuvers and strategies for getting rankings. And I'll say this, it's good stuff. A lot of it I'd never seen before, but it makes all the theoretical sense now that I think about it. And again, nothing that Google or YouTube is ever going to punish you for. Now, next we're about to get our very own crystal ball so we can see into the future, and that's going to determine the rest of our strategic maneuvers. This is one little tool that's going to more or less let us see what's going to happen next for us individually so that we can determine where we want to go next or where we need to go next. Moving on to Module 2 and taking a look at this free tool, which I'm so happy to say is free. It looks like the free account does have limits, but it's still more than enough to get you started, provided, of course, that you do your keyword research correctly to begin with. So we got to remember to go back and watch that video and remember that that's going to be the bonus I'm going to offer, is the market research, which typically most market research guides teach you to look for keywords with high volume and low competition. The way I teach market research, keywords come last. They're the last thing we go looking for. First, we have to look for markets, niches, and products. So we'll be going real broad and then narrowing as we dig deeper and deeper into markets. Also in this module is another resource that I've been using without really knowing how or why for a couple of years now. Now that I know what it does and why it's important, I guess I should start opening their emails. It is also free, and I didn't see this covered in the videos. If I remember correctly, it's pretty self-explanatory, so no video should be needed. This is just getting better and better. moving on, we're now in Module 3, which is all about getting views and comments. And the first two ways of doing this are pretty common knowledge, but there's one resource that can really give you an edge in using one of them. And the third is something I've heard of but never knew what it was before, and this is some seriously powerful stuff. Module 4 is where the rubber hits the road. We're getting into the syndicate here. I'm not sure what to say. It's just huge. First, you have the account creation part, and of course, a suggestion for outsourcing that tedious job. That is also a very inexpensive suggestion. Another resource which will also create the accounts and do even more for you, and something that I would call absolutely extraordinary. One of the bonuses mentioned on the sales page, and I would buy the product just for this bonus alone. Abdallah definitely knows how to create an irresistible offer. I could use this particular bonus a few dozen ways for a few dozen different things, besides the way it's being used in this product. And I'll give you a hint. All that PLR that you've been collecting that's sitting on your hard drive under an inch of virtual dust, yeah, not anymore. This is how you can put all of that content to work for you in seconds. We have another social resource, and it doesn't require any account creation. Now, I've used this resource in the past, and when I used it, it was free, but it now costs $7 according to the course, which is not a big deal. And yet another site, which I've also used in the past, and once again, the account creation is going to be required to use this source. But with this one, you can actually create the accounts right from within the site. I've had trouble with some of the account setups on this site, but I would just skip them and use the sites that worked. You can, of course, also create the accounts outside of the site or outsource that account creation. And that brings us to the end of the PDF, where Abdallah also relists all of the resources. So watch the next video, the Tube Ranking Syndicate review, testing the Tube Ranking Syndicate, and I will go over how we're going to begin the test, what all of our variables will be, all of our controls will be, and then in the video after that, we'll take a look at the results that I've gotten. So that's where we are for now. Watch the next video and let's see what happens.